In the grim darkness of the far future, there is no greater warrior than the Adeptus Astartes. The Space Marines, genetically engineered superhumans. Each chapter is a bastion of martial prowess, an unshakable loyalty to the Emperor of mankind. Yet their creation was not without consequence. Over 10,000 years, the Imperium has seen much. From within its ranks, the High Lords of Terra have sanctioned countless foundings, generating new chapters to bolster the ranks of the Astartes and defend the human race. Most became paragons of courage and devotion, waging holy war across the galaxy. But not all. Some became infamous for their tragic ends: mutation, madness, or damnation. They are known as the Cursed Foundings. These were chapters that through some terrible twist of fate suffered a grievous ill fortune that twisted them, forcing them to exist forever in disgrace. The Cursed Foundings take place during the 21st founding in the 36th Millennium. This was a dark moment for the Imperium. Enemies pressed hard. The forces of chaos grew bolder, and the Eye of Terror pulsed at the very edges of the galaxy. As if to make matters worse, a series of warp storms cut off whole systems and severed vital trade routes. All across the galaxy, war raged, and the High Lords of Terra knew the existing Space Marine chapters were stretched too thin. Something had to be done, and fast. So it was decided. The gene seed of existing Space Marines would be examined and improved to create stronger, more resilient Astartes to face the galaxy's perils head-on. But this was heresy. Tampering with the legacy of the Emperor's children was forbidden, and the results catastrophic. This story spans several of the new founding chapters, but we will focus on just a few of the most notable. We begin with the Black Dragons. Officially, records are murky at best. Some sources say the Black Dragons were a founding of the Blood Angels, while others claim descent from the Imperial Fists. But all agree their gene seed was somehow altered, creating a new strain of Space Marine, twisted and terrifying. On the field of battle, the Black Dragons mutated like a virus. Bone grew in grotesque shapes, erupting from their heads and arms, forming horn-like protrusions and blade-like spurs. These growths twisted the dragons' appearance, turning them into nightmarish figures wreathed in shadow. Yet they became feared across the galaxy. The Black Dragons embraced their mutation, using it to become brutal warriors in close combat. Their blades sliced through flesh and bone, tearing apart enemy lines with ease. But such power came at a cost. The Black Dragons were branded as mutants by the ecclesiarchy, and to this day, they fight under suspicion. No matter how valiantly they fight against the foes of humanity, the Black Dragons are hated by some. Some say their chapter is nothing but a festering boil on the face of the Imperium, a constant threat of spreading disease. Yet the Black Dragons prove their loyalty with blood and steel, crushing rebellion and hunting demons across the galaxy. No foe is safe from their relentless advance, no matter how powerful. But there are rumors of an even darker truth behind the Black Dragons. Allegedly, they were engineered not just as superlative shock troops, but as ruthless shock troops, loyal only to the High Lords themselves, operating outside the chain of command and answerable to no one. If true, that would mean they were the first of the CSM, the Chaos Space Marines. Is this why they are so heavily mutated? Were they corrupted by chaos before ever joining the ranks of the Emperor's children? Perhaps. The truth is lost to time and whispers in the shadows. Then there are the Flame Falcons. Officially, what is known as scant, but the tales whispered among the stars are filled with glory and horror. Apparently, the Flame Falcons were a zealous chapter, famed for their daring and unmatched fury. They sang as they slew, dipping their wings in the blood of their enemies and claiming victory after victory. Yet something snapped. During one battle, possibly during the Great Crusade, their bodies suddenly erupted into living flame. Their armor blazed, their flesh burned, and yet they did not die. Instead, they became living fire. The Falcon's flesh burned away, revealing smoldering metal beneath. Their eyes burned bright, and the heat of their rage scorched all around them. To the Imperium, this was seen as clear evidence of warp corruption, a taint of chaos. The Inquisition moved swiftly, declaring the Flame Falcons heretics, and a danger to the whole of the Imperium. Many were burned alive by the Inquisition's agents, while others fled into the stars, pursued by fire and steel. Only a handful survived, hiding in the shadows, hunted to near extinction. Still, some whisper that in the darkest depths of the Eye of Terror, the Flame Falcons live on, reborn in fire and shadow, waging war against the forces of chaos. Perhaps one day they will return to reclaim their lost honor. But our final tale is one of sadness. It is the Lamenters. Officially, their origins are shrouded in mystery, but many believe they descended from the Blood Angels. What is known is their legacy. Every campaign they fought ended in disaster. Allies betrayed them, enemies struck them down in impossible odds, and fate itself seemed to conspire against them. Why? It doesn't matter. All that is important is that it always happens. During the Badab War, the Lamenters sided with the Astral Claws, an alliance that proved disastrous. The Lamenters, gene seed already cursed, was tainted by association, and they were hunted alongside the Astral Claws, losing everything, even their homeworld. In the end, only a handful survived, carrying their sorrow into the heart of the mill. To this day, the Lamenters' story is a somber one. Even when they fight heroically, even when they win, their victories turn to dust, and their banners bear witness to their unending grief. Yet there are rumors of other cursed foundings, chapters whose names are lost to time or deliberately removed from records. There are whispers of the Crusaders, a fanatically religious chapter whose zeal turned them into a cult, consumed by visions of a false emperor. Rumors say the High Lords purged the Crusaders, fearing their influence could spread. Then there are the Firehawks, a chapter born of speed and grace, who mutated into vicious predators. Some say the Firehawks were hunted by the Inquisition, while others claim they vanished into the maelstrom. But perhaps the saddest tale belongs to the Minotaurs, who, according to legend, were engineered as ruthless shock troops, loyal only to the High Lords themselves. Their origins are shrouded in secrecy, and their savage ferocity on the battlefield suggests genetic manipulation beyond the norm. Are they cursed? Some think the Minotaurs were never intended to have a long life. Maybe they were created as expendable shock troops, disposable pawns in the game of galactic conquest. Or perhaps the Minotaurs are not cursed at all. Instead, they are monstrous by design, tools of the Imperium's darker side, striking terror into the hearts of their enemies. What is clear is that the cursed foundings were an era of hubris. By attempting to improve upon the Emperor's children, the Imperium created only tragedy and damnation. The surviving cursed chapters struggle on, forever marked by their past, forever tainted by their misfortune. The Black Dragons fight on, hated but loyal, their blades a testament to their enduring strength. The Flame Falcons live on, scattered and broken, their banner a flickering flame in the darkness. The Lamenters endure, their spirits crushed by fate, their victories hollow. And somewhere in the shadows, maybe others remain forgotten, erased from history. The cursed foundings are a cautionary tale, showing that even the paragons of the Imperium are not immune to corruption, mutation, or tragedy. Each chapter bears the legacy of its Primarch, but some legacies are poisoned. In the grim darkness of the far future, even the angels of death may be doomed from birth. Now, of course, this is just my opinion. Do you agree? Let me know your thoughts below. And don't forget to check back for more content. Until next time.